Hello, I'm Dan Ramey, contributing editor to Internal Auditor Magazine's Fraud Department and president and founder of Houston Financial Forensics. I am pleased to introduce this episode of Fraud on the All Things Internal Audit podcast, which provides fictionalized accounts of fraud based on actual events.
Beer Below Deck, Part 1, The Tradition That Looked Harmless. Petty Officer George LeClaire was always eager to boost morale for his crewmates when his submarine was deployed at sea. A mechanic, LeClaire especially liked one old tradition, Beer Day, which allowed each sailor 2 beers after 45 continuous days underway. These days, the tradition was rarely practiced and required formal approval from Naval Command. But LeClaire saw an opportunity. When the submarine's cooks declined ordering the beer, LeClaire used his parts ordering authority to place a requisition through the Navy supply system the same way he ordered parts. Except instead of ordering spare parts, he requested 350 cans of beer. Not wanting to raise eyebrows, he labeled the line item libations, not 12-ounce can of beer. The request landed in Petty Officer Philip Sebastian's inbox. Sebastian, a supply specialist who vetted requisitions before they were sent out, paused over the item. He didn't know what libations meant. Suspecting something was off, he rejected the request. No beer shipped. No money was lost. Controls had worked. Case closed, right? Part 2, The Cover-Up. Not so fast. 6 months later, an inspection was coming. That stray requisition still sat in the system and could drag down the submarine's inspection score. Inspection ratings matter. They influence promotions, career paths, reputations. So, Sebastian and the supply team decided the presence of the requisition was a risk to good sailors' futures. So they did something worse than allowing a questionable order. They rolled the system back to cover it up. In the months since the beer order, the submarine supply software had been upgraded to a version that prevented deletion of requisitions. The team temporarily installed an older version that allowed deletions, removed the libations requisition, then reinstalled the updated version. In other words, they changed software, manipulated official records, and erased evidence to hide a prior irregularity, all to protect an inspection score. During the review, Junior Inspector Elaine Thorson asked if anyone had deleted any requisitions. Sebastian's hesitation betrayed him. He had not expected the question, and once asked, he answered yes. That admission unraveled the cover-up. What began as a blocked, odd requisition had become an unauthorized software change and a deliberate concealment that cost the government more than $100,000 to remediate. Part 3, Reading the Fraud Triangle. This story is a textbook example of the fraud triangle, but with a twist. The original misstep wasn't grand theft. It was a morale-driven workaround. The cover-up turned it into fraud. Pressure. The crew wanted to avoid a bad inspection score that might derail promotions and harm innocent sailors' careers. That pressure felt urgent, and to many, justified. Opportunity. Access to systems, the ability to reinstall older software, and weak change management controls created a path to erase records. Rationalization. The crew told themselves they were protecting the ship and their shipmates. They never got the beer, they argued, and they were just cleaning up a record to avoid unfair consequences. That rationalization blurred the boundary between loyalty and misconduct. Part 4. The costs. The consequences were real and sharp. Sebastian and his supply supervisor were demoted and discharged. Leclerc, who initiated the requisition, received disciplinary duties, scrubbing bathrooms for 2 weeks. Instead of protecting sailors' ranks and reputations, the cover-up sacrificed them. More than discipline, this episode exposed structural problems, weak segregation of duties, lax change management, and a culture where workarounds could look like loyalty. Those conditions turned a small rule bending into a damaging act of concealment.
You've been listening to All Things Internal Audit Fraud. Check out this month's issue of Internal Auditor magazine at internalauditor.theiia.org. Stay sharp, stay ethical, and stay tuned for the next episode of All Things Internal Audit Fraud.